What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dripping Creativity Podcast. I am your host, Chris Corvan, and today we are going to explore the depths of creative expression and healing. I am honored to be joined by the amazing Savannah Reynolds. She is a singer, healer, creator with a profound journey and so much happening. I can't even, just one of the coolest people I've met on Threads specifically. It's been absolutely fantastic. We're going to dive right into it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Really help me out here, guys. Come on, that'd be great. And yeah, we're just going to jump right into it. Savannah, how are you doing today?
Hi, Chris. I'm having fun. Loving life. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. Yeah, so we're just going to dive right into this. Like, you've had such a unique upbringing when it comes to everything you've done. Your parents were in theater arts, correct?
Yeah.
And then your earliest experience was like rhythm gymnastics. How did that kind of the gymnastics thing flow into the rest of your life? Kind of walk us through part of your journey here.
Okay. So my mom was a dancer, right? She did professional ballet as well. And my dad did martial arts. And so when they had kids, they knew that it was like going to be important to put them in something that would build their character and their endurance and their self-esteem in that way. So originally they put me into dance, like ballet, and regular gymnastics like tumbling and such. But my ballet teacher was like, this girl's really, really flexible naturally. So yeah, they ended up choosing rhythmic gymnastics, which is more like European dominated. And it's more about like artistry and expression and dance. So yeah, that was cool. I started when I was like 8 and made the like junior Olympic team when I was 11. So that meant I got to compete with like people from all over the country. And that was really, really fun. Yeah, and then I just kept competing and kept ranking. And so then I got to travel to multiple countries in Europe and Argentina. And yeah, so that was cool. There was a lot going on during those times. But
stressful as fuck, really.
It was really stressful.
So then when did music kind of become a core part of your life there?
Well, since my mom and dad were both in the theater, they would travel like from LA to San Diego, from LA to San Diego all the time. So I was like a backseat baby. And they raised me on tunes. Like, there was so much music going on all the time. Like from the time I was like 2. So yeah, that's when music came in. And as soon as I could talk, I started to sing. So
what style really drew you in the most when you were belting out the tunes as a 2-year-old?
Well, musical theater stuff, because there was a lot of musical theater going on.
You know what? You're talking to a theater kid. It's man, I feel it. I feel it right here.
Yeah, I was singing a lot of that, and then there was a lot of Disney. So
there's got to be man. You know what? I don't give a shit. The Lion King soundtrack and Aladdin soundtrack, they still slap. I love that shit. So good. So we've got all that stuff. We got the music and all that. When did the spiritual side of stuff really start manifesting within you and becoming a core part of you?
Yeah. So when I was like a kid, 5, 6, 7. Well, I'd been having night terrors for a long time. And it was like to the point where I wouldn't want to go to sleep because they'd be so freaking scary. But at the same time, they were so cool that I'd really, really want to go to sleep. So I started lucid dreaming at like 8. I taught myself how to lucid dream. So that's when a lot of like messages started coming through. I started seeing a lot in my dreams, started like being characters in my dreams. So that was pretty freaking spiritual. But then like my conscious choice to start like having a spiritual practice in my life was in 2016. Yeah.
Okay. And so what kind of led up to the conscious decision that that's something you really wanted to focus on?
Well, pretty much just like suffering. I was just feeling really sick in my body and sick in my head, and like no self-esteem, like just like anxious, super depressed, just feeling super shitty. And then I just like started watching some consciousness expanding stuff like for me, and I was like, oh shoot, like suffering really is a thing that is happening on this planet, and I should probably fucking do something about that for myself. So that's when I found yoga. Well, first I went on YouTube, and I'm just like spiritual self-help, because I got down on my knees and I'm like, please God help me, I swear I'll do better, because I was just feeling so horrible. Yeah. And then I got some messages like, you got to get into self-help, you got to get into like the spiritual life. So I did. And yeah, then I found yoga and meditation and eventually veganism, and that just kind of like started elevating my health and my mood and stuff.
So it's definitely one of those things of finding an anchor point for you, something that you really connect with, to then help you take the next steps you need to really focus on yourself and better yourself. I think that type of thing is amazing and awesome. And even for myself, I have a similar thing, not so much in that sense as just the reason why I do everything I do now, because I have a long history of mental health issues, and all of that was actually due to a motivational video on YouTube. And it's so weird to say that it fucking helped me and kicked me in the ass, and it was really weird, but it did. And I'm very glad. I think a lot of it boils down to, you have to be ready to take that next step, be it whatever it is, be it the spiritualism, any religion. I'm not a huge advocate for religion myself, but if it helps people and they're not hurting anybody, sure, let's have some fun. But finding that type of thing, awesome. I absolutely love that. I think that's amazing. So then with that, where did the inspiration to do more creative stuff within the spiritual stuff?
It's kind of a long story, because once I started getting into yoga specifically and started studying, I was still having like mental health stuff. So sometimes there's like an all or nothing thing that happens with some of us. Like, oh shit, I read this in all of my yogic texts, and this is like my understanding of this. So that means that I have to completely shift. And for some reason, I had this perception that it was my duty in this lifetime not to do my art, not to be a fucking weirdo, not to allow the shadowy, dark stuff to like emanate from me, even if it were in a creative and beautiful way. Like, for some reason I thought that was not appropriate. So it's really only in the last really few months, beginning of this year, that it's kind of been like, let everything go, let all of those like shoulds and duties stuff go, and just allow yourself to do what's coming naturally to you, while maintaining, like for me, maintaining my meditation and my yoga, and like So now it's like I'm drawing and I'm letting my music come through, and I'm able to not fucking like shame myself as much or feel like, damn it, this is not my last life because I'm not perfect kind of thing.
So when it came to those blocks and all those things out that were repressing you from expressing yourself there, is that purely an internal thing, or were there like external things? Again, you don't have to go into any detail, of course, but I'm just curious, because I know a lot of times it's kind of a combination of the two.
Yeah. Well, I started getting a lot into like angelic work and ascension and the ascended masters and Christ consciousness, and also just like the hippie woo-woo spirituality stuff. And a lot of what I was seeing, since I was still having a lot of comparison stuff going on and a lot of like inferiority stuff going on, was like, okay, externally I'm seeing these people, they're functioning in this way, they're behaving this way, so that means that I should probably do that or I'm never going to fit in, type of thing. And then yeah, so I don't know, there was that, and internally it was mostly internal, just because there's been like so many battles going on internally that I've been fighting, and also like having to let go. Like, I'm not actually gonna fight that, I'm actually just gonna walk away.
That's one of the hardest things to learn to do, is walk away. I know I struggle with that severely still. Yeah, no, that type of internal struggle, that type of thing is very impactful and long lasting, because no one can hurt you like you can at the end of the day. So anyways, getting away from the sad depressing shit, let's start bringing it back to the happier stuff here. You have spoken about the importance of dreams within your work and how you approach life. How did your experiences with the lucid dreaming and past life visions and all that help and encourage your healing and creativity?
Well, I think because I was given visions of so many past lives, and it was very clear to me that I've been this being that I've experienced in my dreams. And maybe I've been, or I am this being, and it's just happening in a different realm of existence. So it was kind of like, it gave me the opportunity to really go through that deep, dark, challenging stuff, like not fitting in and just feeling like a total outcast. And like, so it gave me that, and then it gave me the opportunity to kind of like try to force myself to let that all go. And now it's come back full circle. Like, yes, I am that being. I can embrace it. I can even start to talk to people about it because people are relating, having a similar experience. I think it's just been empowering for me to like know who I am, like more than just this version of me, Savannah. Yeah, which is cool. Feels nice.
No, well, you know, I anytime you're really feeling like yourself, it's a fantastic feeling, for lack of a better word there. So talk to me about shadow work. What is this all about?
So shadow work, Carl Jung, back in like the Nazi Germany times, German psychologist. It's kind of just like the subconscious, unconscious mind. He puts it in terms of like an iceberg. Like, we're only expressing 10% of who we really, really are, and the 90% is like unconscious behaviors and things that we've held onto and not fully processed and are just not aware that we're acting upon. It's kind of like that 90% is running our life. So for me, shadow work is kind of just like really diving in and examining all of these things and kind of like letting them just expand and kind of just become conscious for us. And I guess for me right now, I'm still working on like, okay, there's this thing that I want, I desire, I want to act on that thing. So it's like, and I see that there's more to it than that. So it's just like an exploration of like, there's some guilt that comes along with these things. There's some like denial. And I think it's just a matter of like exploration. And then just like really coming back to like cultivating like this deep love for self. Like, yeah, that thing is fucking a part of me right now. And I can again like walk away and let it go. Or I can try to let it go and walk away. And if it's still with me, then I just have to keep on like keep being with the process of like letting it be part of me and still loving myself. Like this unconditional self-acceptance.
There's I usually refer to my massive depression as my demon. It's just always kind of with me. Those who have seen my short story Threshold know exactly what I'm talking about because I go into massive detail about him. But anyways, it's not so much about getting rid of him because I will never. I know I will never. My depression, my hatred, all of that, it's there. It is a part of me, and it's just it's learning to accept that as a part of who I am. And those moments are going to happen where he comes through and just destroys my entire house and wrecks everything in my life and burns it all down, and I build it up again. And that's just a part of who I am. And I get that. It took a long fucking time to understand that and really come to grips with that aspect of it. So yeah, no, I totally get all of that. While we were talking there, I actually had a memory of one of the threads that you posted there, which I was going to get into and type all about it, but then I was like, nah, you know what, just save it. So you study a lot of religions, a lot of various things, and you had just done one on Taoism, and which really, I love Taoism. Like, I never studied under anybody. It was purely self-exploration. I spent a lot of time studying a lot of religions when I was younger, and Taoism was always one of the ones that really stuck with me, the I Ching and all of that. And you didn't have a good experience, basically, when it came down to it, with the person you were So what do you think the issue was, and kind of give us a rundown on what happened there?
Yeah. So this is a really dark episode, I'm finding. I don't know how your other episodes are, but yeah, so I met this person at a summit for like freedom fighters and like off-grid structures and alternate economy systems. And just right off the bat, it was super like, oh, it's a full moon and we're meeting, and wow, how auspicious. Oh, how auspicious this is. And so we ended up exchanging information. We started talking. I had been wanting to find a teacher to study under, to eventually, like, I don't know, I was thinking do martial arts, be like a superhero or something, which is still a possibility. So he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, well, I teach Taoist alchemy and Qigong. So I was like, okay, getting into some like Taoist internal work, spiritual work. which is really interesting. I like to do inner journey work. And so a few weeks later, I decided to pack my bags and head up to Oregon to train with this person I'd only met once. Like, so it's like the discernment has never been my strong suit. Because I feel like I always know and understand that, like, I'm going to be okay no matter what, and I'm going to learn. But yeah, it was just not a good vibe. He was, I don't know what some of the work he was into. But it just wasn't like pure. It wasn't like I'm going to a monastery and it's legit and there are other students and I have like people to talk to and relate to and reflect with, and I have my teachers who are legit. I wasn't in an ashram, so I wasn't studying yoga, and same deal. No, it was just me and this old dude who had been studying qigong and alchemy teachings, and I was like, okay, here I am. So that was pretty much, the qigong was great. Like, we did like an hour and a half of qigong every day, and it was great. Like, the practice is awesome. But he didn't teach me shit. So that was a little bit of a problem. Yeah,
I can see that. That kind of makes sense. Lesson learned. Beware the flags. Look for the flags. It's hard to see, man.
Nothing like horrible happened, though. Nothing happened to me, which is good.
That's good. That's very good, because that really would have turned this to a very dark episode. Damn.
Gosh, dang.
All right, so you know what? I think we've covered a whole bunch of the stuff, but and I'll cut right here in case you don't want to. But growing up, you had a lot of challenges when it came to eating disorder and Sturge-Weber syndrome. Did that impact a lot of your mental health going towards, and how you ended up kind of not overcoming everything, but coming to terms with everything?
Yeah, I'm good with talking about that. So as far as Sturge-Weber syndrome, the biggest effect, of course, is my birthmark, right? Like, it covers all my head, but I've always had hair. But in elementary school, it wasn't too bad. It's not like people like really made fun of me, so I wasn't very sensitive. But then going into middle school, I was like, I want to wear makeup. I want to do this. Like, I'm not going to, like, I intentionally went to a different middle school than all of my friends because I've just been rebellious like that for forever. And yeah, that's when kind of like the eating disorder thing started to happen. Like, I was obsessed with food, but I wouldn't eat it type of thing. Like, I would eat some, but just this emphasis on nutrition, like food fuels your body. Here, eat, like feed yourself, nourish yourself, like, because that just, in our society, that's not really like, we don't have a lot of culture around nourishment and fuel, like in some like athletic circles and such. But that was tough because I was training 3-4 hours a day, 5 days a week, stressing about my birthmark all the time, and not eating and getting sick all the time. So that really sucked. And yeah, I didn't stop wearing makeup until like 2018, when one of my friends actually convinced me to go outside without makeup for the first time since like freaking 2006 or something like that. So, but again, now it's just like really casual, and I embrace it and I love it, and it's a part of me, and eventually it would be cool if I could find it within myself to do more advocacy for people with facial differences and Sturge-Weber syndrome and all that good stuff. And then as far as eating disorder, it's like just seeing how much of a lack of nutrition understanding and that there is, like there was with my family and everyone around, and this culture of like junk food and fast food and like just consumption, like it just, and then not to mention like the quality of the food, the land, the earth, like soil degradation, deforestation, all these things that happened as a result of like our disgusting food system. I'm sorry to put it in terms like that, but it's just it's really not good. So it just kind of helped me to get clarity on that, and helped me to educate myself on nutrition and eating a balanced diet, and impacted the way I see the food system and in turn animals. And so it helped me go vegan, and honestly going vegan I think was the most impactful thing I chose, even more impactful than yoga, to contributing to like clearer mental health for me, because I wasn't only doing something for me, I was doing something for the planet, for the animals, and to as like a direct like indirect opposition to a system I felt was unjust. And that was super duper empowering for me. So, and it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't gone through all that suffering. I wouldn't have been able to see it that way.
I'm very much a believer in everybody goes through similar shit in some way, through various different things. Obviously, some way more extreme than others, but it's in the approach in how you come out the other side, because it is easy enough to blame external things, blame people around you, blame absolutely everything else, and not take the time to understand yourself in the whole situation and how to lift yourself up alongside it. Not to be held down by it, I think is more the way I'm thinking about it. So to find a way through the veganism, through the spirituality, and just coming to grips with yourself and loving yourself is really the bottom line when it comes down to it. Is amazing. Like that's fantastic, and I don't think enough people really do that. So to see that and to hear the story, that's awesome. It makes me very happy. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's kind of start getting the lighter stuff before we get to the rapid fire questions here. So you have an amazing community, really big on Threads right now. Like you're blowing up, dude. What kind of inspired you to really focus on building the social media presence for everything?
Because I want to help people. And I would like to eventually have a team of people who have gone through such deep transformation and who want to show up and serve. And I decided like 8 or 9 weeks ago to start a Threads because something told me get on Threads, and I did, and I've been growing ever since. And the social media is, I'm just practicing consistency and doing my best to get some sort of positive message out there, but ultimately the purpose is to grow the community and be able to have all of these offerings that are really impactful in people's lives, that really make a difference, and allow them to see these parts and pieces of themselves that maybe they couldn't see before the work that like myself and my future team are offering. So it's really just it's not there yet, of course. I still like, I'm a dork, for sure. I'm a weirdo, so it like is not completely cohesive. The message isn't totally there, but that's the intention behind everything.
I love that, and you got to be a dork. You're a nerd. I mean, you've played World of Warcraft. You're kind of stuck. You played D&D. How was the D&D game?
Unfortunately, we had to end our campaign a game early.
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah. So we're still stuck in the Sunless Citadel. We're down at the bottom. We don't know what happened because we have to end the game early. So my Dragonborn Paladin Serena is somewhere.
Nice. So
You know?
I ran a game for my son and his friends there during COVID or before COVID, and we ended up not doing anything with it after a couple months and all that. But I homebrewed a massive ass world. Like the thing was huge, and I'm looking at this going, no one else is going to touch this. I need to do something with it. Oh, I know. It's now almost like 6 years later or whatever. Let's bring them all back to the table as new characters. And guess what? Your team, your group, they failed. That's what happened at the end of the game. They failed. The bad guys won and now rule the world. Everything is destroyed. Welcome to your new home. And I literally rebuilt the entire world with the complete belief that the bad guys won, and now you're stuck in a world where the bad guys rule the world. Congratulations, post-apocalyptic D&D, baby. I'm very excited to get into that one. But
yes.
And that is what we call a severe switch in topics. Like, that was fast. That's how we do shit. So, all right, let's jump into some rapid fire questions before we wrap this up and move on to things. Where is your favorite go-to meditation place?
I like to hike, and usually I will just feel called to a spot, and I'll sit down and I'll feel the things, and then I'll sit there and meditate.
So just wherever calls you. You
Yes.
know what? I do that a lot in the mountains over in Banff. Just kind of go for a walk. Just like, let's go down here and see where it goes. What is your favorite place in nature to recharge?
The beach.
Really?
I
You're
like
a beach
to be in the
person.
ocean. I like to be in the ocean. I'd say probably if I got out into nature more, it would be somewhere deep in the forest. But right now, it's the beach.
I'm landlocked. I don't have anything like that. Most influential book or piece of music?
I would say from Gojira's From Mars to Sirius really helped me.
Excellent.
A lot. Yeah.
One piece of advice you would give to somebody starting their spiritual journey?
I would say don't be afraid to research a lot of different things. Anything that pops into your head, look it up on Google, look it up on YouTube, go to the library, and trust that you're going to receive the wisdom and the guidance that you're meant to.
That one I will second right there. Back when I was studying all the religions, because, I was a messed up teenager trying to find something. I still have my journal that has like all the different religions and shit that I was researching, the elements and all of this stuff. Research is good. Don't go on blind faith. Look, figure shit out. Especially for yourself, because different things connect to different people. What dream experience has influenced you the most in your life?
Let's see. That's a tough one. But I suppose that I will say there was a dream I had with a dude who was kind of half wizard, half Jesus, and he had a big wheel, a spinny wheel, and there were different sections for different dimensions and places. And I only dreamt that dream twice, but he seemed like a very, very powerful guide, and it was something that I tried to get back to for years, because when he spun it, he'd land on something and I'd go to that dimension. So yeah, that was a trip.
Okay, so then coffee or tea?
Oh my god.
How is that the hardest question?
Okay, because you better bet I love coffee. But you also better bet that when I'm like letting stuff go and I'm getting into like letting go of all the stuff I don't need, for sure tea.
I only drink tea now before an interview because coffee makes me too congested in the throat. I'm constantly coughing and I'm just like, coffee finally betrayed me on something. So if anyone asks, this is coffee. It's not actually coffee. It's green tea today, but I like a good oolong. I'm a fan of oolong.
Oolong is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful tea. I like that.
It's the perfect amount of flavor and just, it's chill. It's so good.
I was just going to say that's super chill.
All right. What do you do when you are not diving into spiritual shit? What do you do in your downtime?
When I'm not diving into spiritual shit?
Yeah. What do you do to relax and calm down at the end of the day?
Drawing, journaling, meditating. Not meditating to get anywhere, just to breathe. I like breath work. I like being with my friends. I like big hugs. I like dancing. I just like to chill and have fun.
That is the most wholesome goddamn answer I think I've ever heard. That was just too wholesome. We're gonna have to end on that one because that was just way too freaking wholesome right there. So then the absolute final question, Savannah, where can people find you?
You can definitely follow me on Instagram at savannah._.ray. Or you can follow me on YouTube and it's Savannah Reynolds. Or you can follow me on Threads, and the next thing I'm going to try to do is a newsletter, so you can also subscribe to my newsletter / whatever else comes next.
Absolutely perfect. Thank you so much to everyone who is still here for the main show. If you are part of the Creative Coffee Cafe community or a Patreon member that I haven't started yet, but by the time this comes out, it will be active. You just stick around because you're going to see the off-the-record shit. As for everyone else, thank you so much for joining us for this amazing episode. It has been an absolute blast. Savannah, I can't speak highly enough about you. You're just an amazing person.
Oh my God, awesome. Thank you.
As for everyone else, thank you again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do all that fun shit. My name is Chris Corvan. You can find me everywhere at Chris of the Void. This has been the Dripping Creativity Podcast, part of the Creative Coffee Cafe community. And until next time, stay creative, stay inspired. See ya.